Okay folks, here is my e-bike. This is a Merida E160 8000. It's a 2021 model. What I want to do in this video is actually show you how to change from a tubed rear tyre setup to a tubeless. Effectively, this video will show you what's needed to go from tubed to tubeless, and I'll go through all the gear, but I'll cover off first of all why I am doing this. Oh no. Please subscribe. So the rear tyre that I have here is a 27.5 inch, and this is by a 2.5 inch tyre. Now my bike over here is a 29 inch and a 27.5 inch setup. That's called a mullet setup. Now just have a little look at this tyre. As I was riding my bike the other day, literally I started getting squirted everywhere with this white stuff because I set this bike up, or this rear tyre up, as a tubeless setup, and then this burst. Just take a close look at that. This is as I'm riding, and so you got the milk spraying everywhere, the tyre sealant that is. When that happened, it bubbled out. I had to, still get home. I was quite a few kilometers away from home, and I normally carry a spare tube. In this instance, I had a TPU tube. Look at the size difference in the boxing. These are better quality, but this will get you out of a bind, and so I had to chuck this in. So effectively, it's now a tubed setup. We're going to pull this out and show you how to go back to having a nice tubeless setup. And it's not really that hard, but I thought this video may be helpful for you to see how to do it. The reason why this happened is, I think, simply because it's an old tyre. Have a close look and you'll see some crack lines. This happens because it's an old tyre. I can say that because it's happened to me before on another old tyre. And something happens in the wall structure of it at some point, and it just suddenly pops out. I put it down to it just being an old tyre. I find personally I have to change tyres up on my mountain bike. Look, it depends on usage, but realistically once a year. Now I don't go for super expensive tyres. I mean, this one is a Maxxis Aggressor, and I look online and I get the best price that I can. This isn't top of the line, but I spend about $60 online. And you know what? This will last me a good year, easily, if not more. But because I use it so much, especially more so for road riding, I'll probably, about once a year is what I have to change it. $60, that's not too bad each year. If you are buying a tyre, have a look at that it's got like this TR, tubeless ready. If you don't look for that and you just get any old tyre, then it may not work for a tubeless setup. So to go to a tubeless setup, what do we need? Obviously, we need a tubeless ready tyre. Check. You need to get yourself some rim tape. Now, I get all my stuff wherever possible just off AliExpress because of how cheap it is. The size depends on how wide your rim is, and I'll show you that soon. But 10 meters of this stuff. I've done about 3 or 4 wheels with this. 10 meters. It's 34 millimeters wide for my rim here. This one, I actually got I think it's about 50 meters. And it's about $8 from AliExpress. This is sort of a bronze colored one. So I thought, let's give this a try. So you need to have some rim tape. I have once tried doing this with sort of like a duct tape, and you know what? It gets you out of a bind, but this is the good stuff. Some gloves, need a bit of a rag. You need to have something like this. No tubes, tyre sealant. Now I think I've still got a little bit of sealant left in here. I'm going to try to suck a bit of that out if there's any in there, but I've got about 60 mils here, which will be enough for this setup. Now, in all honesty, I've bought a few different products of this tyre sealant. Honestly, don't stress, don't get the most expensive. This costed me from 99 bikes $55. It's good stuff, Just get yourself some tyre sealant, any will do. You will need some kind of a charging pump. Look, you can do it with just a normal bike pump, but I've got one of these ones. This is a flash charger Bontrager. This is a fantastic, it's if not the best bike pump for tubeless setups that you can get out there. I think this cost me $300, but honestly, if you're into biking, yeah, I can't recommend that enough. It's excellent. And I'll show you why. Okay, it's got a whole tank on there to do exactly what we're gonna do here. You can get away with it using, you know, those cheap pumps, but honestly, there are cheaper versions of this. Yeah, research it for yourself. So first things first, get the tire off the rear. And then what we're gonna do is, I've got my TPU tube in here, as I mentioned before. So what I wanna do is let the air out. This is a Presta valve. In my opinion, these are better than your Schrader valves, which is like your car tire valve. I'll let all the air out. Almost there. I'll let out as much as I can, and then we're gonna break a little bit of the seal. Like there was still some sealant in there. You can see a little bit is coming out here. That's all right. Okay. And you just start popping it over, away from the rim. Now, I did forget to mention, you will need some kind of, you know, tire rim pullers. So I want to get it a little bit under there. I usually like to get another one just a little bit further up, just to help me with my lift. There we go. All right, I can see exactly, what's happened. The tire wall here failed. See, normally there's this bead that runs here, and you can see exactly what's here. It's like multi-strands of material, but that runs around on the inside, gives it its strength, and for whatever reason, the rubber here failed and literally pulled away. Check that out. That's what happened. Yeah, okay. All right, so just opening it up. Now I want to get the TPU tube out. There we go. I'm just going to pull it outside because there might be a bit of sealant still. Okay, I'll just pop that there. It's only a little bit of sealant. Tell you what, when I was riding the other day, this was spraying everywhere, just crazy stuff. All right, I'll just tip that sealant into like a little jar. Actually, I'm just gonna completely get this tire off because we're gonna change the rim tape on this. I'll show you how to do that too. There we go. And I'll just tell you a little secret. Whenever you are dealing with tires, can you see how the rim goes in? Okay, as long as the bead of the tire is sitting up on the edge, you're going to struggle putting it over the rim or taking it off. So get your bead as much as possible around into the center, and that is going to enable you to easily pop off the tire. Trust me on that one. It's just a little tip. And you can see this is rim tape that I put on not that long ago, but I'm going to put on the new stuff just to show you how to put, you know, rim tape on, and I'm just going to get rid of this, take that off. It's like liquid gold. I don't get rid of this stuff unless if it's super old and ugly. Look, that's still, I don't know, 10 mils there. So yeah, keep it there. This tire now will be rubbish. We'll get rid of that thoughtfully somewhere. What I should have done is just put on some gloves, right? I feel like a doctor now. Ow! All right, that's better. Now what I can see is that there is some sealant inside underneath this tape. So there is the hole for the valve. We're gonna just tip this in, whatever comes out. Liquid gold, brother. This isn't normal, but yeah, I'll save whatever sealant I can. We're now going to be removing this rim tape, and we're going to find the ends right there and try to lift it up. And we want to clean this as much as possible. What I do now is I like to get this extra clean, and I use isopropylene. This is like rubbing alcohol. So pretty much I spray it on, and with a clean rag, I now begin to clean the inside of the rim. This is quite important. This removes a lot of, contaminants that are on this surface, and you want to try to get this as clean as possible. It gives your rim tape the best chance it has just to get a really good seal. All right, with the rim entirely clean, I'm just going to show you how wide my rim is. 30 millimeters wide. 30 millimeters wide, and this tape, can't even see it, is 34 millimeters wide. This one that I bought recently, they don't come in 34, this comes in 35 millimeters wide, but she'll be right, mate. It can be easier to put rim tape on if it's on your bike repair stand and you've mounted your rear wheel, and that's how we'll be doing it. I'll find the valve hole, and I will start about 20 centimeters past the valve hole and go this way, anti-clockwise, so the tape will end up finishing down on this side somewhere. And then get a good stretch. Let's get a really good stretch. I found my first revolution, and I'm just going to be going past that. All right, so for my first revolution around, it's okay. There are a couple of little bubbles here and there, and I can't really get those out, but I'm going to call it good. All right, coming down to my pass over here, and I'll just go past it for a certain length. So I like to just run the tyre removal tool just around all the edges. If there's any more air, just try to pop them out where possible. All right, and that is pretty good. Look, it ain't perfect, but it's okay. Got my rim tape all in place, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. We next get our tyre. Now we need to figure out the rotation. Normally for that, you check out the walls and it'll tell you, there'll be a little arrow as to which direction the tyre should be rotating. Here we go. So if you have a look there, it says rotation that away. Now I know my wheel turns that way, so rotation will be going on like that. Before we put the tyre on, we need to put our valve in. Now, you can get a bunch of different types of valves. I'm just reusing my old valve. It's good enough, it's fine. Just checking the rubber end there is okay. And yeah, that's still got life in it. And there's a few components that come with it. So what we do is we want to find the hole. And there it is right there. So I turn it over and I'm eyeballing it. And I'll just pop a little hole. There we go. We want to put this in through that hole. I need to push it in all the way. And then I need to get it tightened down here up on this side. I've got my ends here. It sits over. Popping down my little rubber O-ring. And then this is the nut that tightens up the valve stem and pulls it that way. Now you want to make sure that there's a nice bit of tension on that thread. And as I do, this pulls down here. And some people put a little drop of sealant there. I found, honestly, it doesn't really matter. As you pull it down, the rubber end pushes down and that creates a good enough seal. Now we can put our tyre on. I know my rotation is this way. Get it on in the middle of the rim. There we go, that's the first side done. Next, we'll get the other side on. And I like to personally just start here at the valve stem. Start feeding it around. Cool. Now I've left a little pocket there. I'm going to be putting my sealant in there. Now you ideally put about 60 mil. There we go. I'm eyeballing it here, but that's about 60 mil right there. There we go. Let's put it in. Now this is just where you have to be careful. You don't want that spilling out. With it in there, I'm going to tip the sealant down to the other side. There we go. All right, cool. Now I want to make sure my tyre is sort of in the middle of the rim. That'll give me the best chance to pop it over the edge. New tyres sometimes can be quite difficult, but we will get it. There we go. There we go. Our sealant is in the bottom, and we just simply now need to put our initial lot of air in here. This is now where I get my Bontrager flash charger. I turn it on, and I need to charge up the chamber here with air. From memory, I do get about 160 psi. I set it to charge, and I check this other side. Fill tank, that's what we want to do. And then I start pumping it up, get the pressure up. And you see it says 4851. I can get this all the way, from memory, I think to about 160 psi. 153. There we go. 160 psi. I undo the valve, put it to the open position. Now what I'll do, I'll put this onto the valve. This is an absolutely exceptionally air valve right there. Plonk it on, lift it up, and it's locked. Now what we do, we're going to be releasing the pressure here. We go to release pressure. This will fill up and then you'll hear some pop sounds. That pop is a sweet sound. All right, let's see what happens. There we go, hear that pop? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, all right, turn it off. I'll take this off. Now I'm just checking around, and actually that worked out perfectly. There is a little line there on the bead, and that needs to be pretty much the same all the way around. If it's not, and if one part of it is stuck in there, it's not right. Don't ride your bike. I'm checking both sides. Sometimes tyres can be stubborn and it doesn't pop out all the way. But that popping sound that I was hearing, that's good, but you need to check it. Okay, really, really important. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, just tighten it. Cool. And let's just rotate the sealant around. Okay, spin it around like this. Swishes that sealant around on the other side. Nice, very, very happy with how that went. Excellent. I'm just going to be topping it up a little bit more. There we go, 32, that's good. All right guys, that's pretty much it. Look, I'm no professional, obviously, but I've done this enough times to know how to do it and to save a few dollars changing to a tubeless setup. Hope you got something out of it. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry that it's a long video, but I hope you stuck around and learnt something new. Catch you out there.